All right, we have a quick tune-up for your hips and low back today. I'm using a yoga mat just for a little bit of cushioning between me and the floor, a little bit of grip, and 2 yoga bricks. Not super important if you don't have both these things, but find something around the house that's kind of analogous to this shape maybe if you feel unstable as we start to come up from the floor. We're starting first on our back. So lay on your back and take both knees into your chest right away. So you're pulling both knees into your chest here. If it hurts the front of your knees, or if you have pain in the front of your knees when you do this, just switch your grips to behind your knees. And then pivot to grabbing one leg. So we'll take your hands, grab the back of your right leg, take your left leg out straight, reach your left leg away from you. And keeping your left leg straight and your right leg bent and close, we're gonna bring your left leg straight up over your hip and down, all right? So a little bit of abdominal work here, going up and down with your left leg as you pull your right knee into your chest. Go down and then up one more time. Lower your left leg down, then bend your left knee in. Switch your grips, grab the back of your left leg, take your right leg out away from you, all right? So we're pulling your left knee in towards your chest, extending your right leg, and then lifting your right leg up towards the ceiling, lowering it down. All right, big squeeze in your glute as you get close to the floor, taking it back up and down. And then one more time, we'll go up and down, and then finish with squeezing your knees in towards your chest. All right, go back to that first grip. So we're gonna take your hands behind your right leg, take your left leg out straight, and you can let your left heel come to the floor and rest on the floor. With your right leg here, we'll extend it straight up towards the ceiling. Spread the toes of your right foot, pull your toes back towards your face, and bend your knee. Okay? We're gonna repeat that 3 times, so 2 more here. Extend your right leg straight, spread your toes, pull your toes back towards your face, reach through your right heel, bend your knee. Last one here, extend your right leg straight, spread your toes, pull your toes back in towards your face, bend your knee, change sides, catch the back of your left leg, take your right leg out, let your right leg come to the floor so your heel rests on the floor, and with your left leg now, extend your left leg up towards the ceiling, straightening your left knee, pulling the toes of your left foot back towards your face as you spread your toes apart, extending up through your heel. Bend your knee and extend. All right, spread your toes, pull your toes back towards your face, bend your knee. Then one more time here, extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. All right, bend your knee, take both knees back into your chest, give them a squeeze. Keep your knees bent, place your feet on the floor. Press your feet down into the floor, lift your hips up. Right, so we get your glutes turned on, your buttocks turned on. As you lift your hips up away from the floor, think about tilting your pelvis, right? So you can tuck your tailbone under a little bit here. You'll find it brings some length to your lower back. Go ahead, lower all the way down to the floor. And repeat. So we're gonna lift your hips up again, press your feet evenly into the floor so that you come up onto your shoulders. You can even tuck your shoulder blades under your back here as you lift your hips up. Then release, come back down to the floor. Really looking for a good solid engagement in your glutes as you, one more time, lift your hips up off the floor, big squeeze in your buttocks, maximum height here in your hips. Then release, come all the way down to the floor. Keep this shape, but let's adjust your legs. So now the inside edges of your feet and your knees touch. So we're just bringing your knees together, feet together. Still bent on your knees, feet on the floor. Take your arms out to the side, kind of like the letter T here. Squeeze your abdominal muscles so you get some tone in your abs, and begin by taking your knees over to the right side. As you take your knees to the right, have your left hip stacked over top of your right hip. Squeeze your abs, bring your knees back up to center, and then over to the left. Now your right hip's over your left hip. We want to have some abdominal control here as we go from side to side, right? And then that squeeze of your abdomen, the squeeze of your abs brings your knees back up to center. One more time over to the right. Big reach, stack your hips, keep your knees on top of one another, back to center, squeezing your abdominals, over to your left. All right, big reach here through that top right knee, then back to center, and then knees to your chest one more time, big squeeze here. All right, next we're coming up. We're gonna roll to your right side, bring yourself up, and let's set your legs up so that we go 90 and 90. I'll start with my right leg forward, and what I mean by 90 and 90 is I'm 90 degrees in my knee, so my right knee is in a 90-degree bend, and then from my thigh to my hip, there's a 90-degree bend also here. I'll do the same thing with my left leg, right? So I have my left knee back, you can see this shin's parallel to that edge, this thigh's parallel to this edge, and then I have some parallel lines over there. Okay, with my right leg forward, I'll take my right arm out as a post. My left hand, I'm gonna reach forward, coming forward over my right leg and folding here. Then coming back up and going forward again. All right, so in yoga, this is kind of analogous to pigeon pose. It gets a little bit into the piriformis here. Come on up into the rotation of that right hip. One more time, go forward over your right leg here. You can push off a little with that right arm as you reach with your left arm. Come on up, and now we'll twist to the right side. So this right arm, I want you to keep straight as a post. This left hand will feed past your right hip. As you feed your left hand past your right hip, you can see I'm dropping my left shoulder, rolling my right shoulder back, and folding over my right knee. All right, so it's a twist and a fold. Come on up and untwist, and then repeat. All right, so twisting to your right, reaching your left hand past your right hip, rolling your right shoulder back, dropping your left shoulder towards the floor, folding forward, come up, then one more time, repeat. Folding forward here and turning. All right, come on up and change legs. This time we'll bring your left leg forward so that your left shin is parallel to the short edge of your sticky mat here. If you're not using a sticky mat, you can kind of guesstimate on the shapes. Your left thigh in line with the long edge, and then same thing here. So this knee, this back knee, I want to pull it back just a little. Sometimes people will set up and the back knee will be too close to the heel. So you just want to make sure you take a minute, set your shape. Left arm is now the post, right arm's the reaching arm. So with my right hand, I'll reach forward as I come over my left leg. And I'm bending my left arm here. If you feel more stable with your arms straight, you can always make adjustments here. Whatever you find manageable. Come on up. And then we'll go forward again. So we're doing this 3 times. Most of these things repeat 3 times. If you go through this sequence and find value in certain things and want to do it multiple times, have at it. Come back up. One more time, fold forward over your left leg. Big reach with your right arm. Relax your abdomen. Come on up. Okay, so now the left arm will stay solid as a post. We're keeping our elbows straight. Our right hand feeds past our left hip. And as I reach past my left hip, I'm folding forward over my front left leg. So it's a fold and rotation. Untwist, come out of this, and then turn back into that left leg. All right, reach past your left hip. Roll your left shoulder back, right shoulder towards the floor, and fold. Come on up. One more time here. Twist and fold. All right, we're just a little bit past the halfway point. Come on up, and we're gonna move to a lunge. If you find as you do these low lunges, you have knee pain, the pressure from the floor is too much, the sticky mat can be helpful. You can always grab a blanket and put a blanket underneath your knee. We'll begin with your right foot forward and your left knee behind your left hip. If my left knee were in line with my hip when I lunge, I'd start to bring my knee out over my toes, which is fine in and of itself, but that works more ankle stability today. We want to keep your work to your hips, so we're going to the front of your hip, right? So the top of your back foot presses down into the floor, right? I have my left knee behind my hip, and I'm dropping my hips down and forward. If you want to turn this more into a quadriceps kind of stretch, you would elevate your back foot. You could take your foot to the wall, you could do it at the couch. If you Google couch stretch, that one will come up and it'll give you a bigger stretch through the top of your back leg. Sit your hips back, Drop your hips down and forward again. All right, as you drop your hips down and forward, we want the action in your legs to be your right knee, your front knee, reaching forward, your back knee, your left knee reaching back, like if you were gonna do the splits. Top of your left foot, the pressure there on the floor gives you a little bit more access to your quadricep. All right, sit your hips back. Now, the brick in your right hand, we'll move to the inside of your foot and we'll walk, I'm toe heeling my right foot over to the right side of my sticky mat and turning my right toes out slightly. Depending on your level of mobility, you can turn the bricks down as low as you like. For today, I'll keep them up high so you see what this looks like. We're taking your elbows onto your bricks inside your right foot. The action here is the same as the lunge we just did. Right? Your hips are dropping down and forward. Your right knee reaches forward. It's actually reaching kind of forward and out. Left knee is reaching back and the top of your left foot's pressing. Right? So hips drop and then sit your hips back. We're just going to recreate those actions here, dropping your hips, reaching forward into your right knee, back into your left knee, and pressing the top of your left foot into the floor. So you should feel this kind of in and through your hips, maybe the inside of your right leg, top of your left thigh. All right, moving on, we'll come up onto your hands. I'll move the bricks out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. With my left hand, I'll either leave it on the brick, on the low height, not the high height, the low height's typically better, or the floor is fine too. With my right hand, we'll go to the inside of your right leg. I tend to go thumb down, kind of cup the inside of my knee, and I push my right knee away. So I'm bringing my right leg into external rotation, coming onto the outer edge of my right foot. So you should see the inside edge of my foot here lifts away from the floor. Lean my upper body away from my right leg, and then drop my hips down and forward. All right, so working external rotation in my right hip. And then bring the sole of your right foot to the floor. You can walk your right foot back to the position it started in. Let's take both hands onto tall bricks. All right, from here you'll tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee up, reach into your left heel so that left leg is extending straight. With your front leg now, extend your front leg straight. You can move your bricks if you need to. Under the shoulder is usually a good place for your bricks to be. And bend your right knee. Right? And then bend and extend. You can do this 3, 4, 5 times. Whatever works for you. You'll find that as you extend your leg, we get a contraction through the quadricep, the muscle above the knee, and a stretch to the hamstring. As you bend your leg, it releases that stretch. Go ahead and stretch it out one more time. That typically is the desired effect in this position. You can also play with your hips a little bit here and extend your spine as straight as you can forward over your right leg. Bend your right knee. Now we'll take your right foot and walk it over to the left side of your mat. If you're not using a mat, all you're looking for here is the cross of your legs. So we're in an extended, like a single leg forward bend with your legs crossed. Before you start to straighten your front leg, take your hips, turn your hips back to the right. So my right leg's forward, I'm turning my hips back to the right, centering my chest over my front leg, then extending my right leg straight. You'll start to feel this through the outside of your right leg, your IT band, TFL, stuff over here on the right side up high. Bend your knee, extend your right leg again. Keep turning your hips back to the right, bend your knee, straighten your right leg out. All right, bend your right knee, walk your foot back to where you started, step your back foot forward, and let's take your left foot forward, right leg back. The right knee, your back knee here, will be behind your right hip, and then we'll go back into this low lunge where you're dropping your hips down and forward, extending your left knee forward, your right knee back, and now the top of your right foot, your back foot here presses down into the floor. Sit your hips back, drop your hips down and forward. All right, all these actions stay the same. Hips back, right? Left knee forward, right knee back, top of your right foot, press it down into the floor. Just trying to light up as many data points in your leg as possible. All right, sit your hips back. Take the brick in your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Walk your foot a little bit over to the left. You can turn your toes out slightly. We'll keep your bricks on their high sides for today, and then take your elbows onto your bricks coming inside of your left leg. Same actions here. Left knee forward, right knee back. Drop your hips down and forward. Sit your hips back. Drop your hips down and forward. All right, press the top of your right foot, reach back into your right knee, forward into your left knee. And one more time, sit your hips back, drop your hips down and forward. All right, sit your hips back. Let's take the brick in your left hand. You can move it out of the way for right now. The brick in your right hand, you can put on the lowest height. So your right hand's going on the brick, left hand's going thumb down. We're going to cup the inside of your left knee and start to give it a push. So we're taking your left leg here into external rotation. The inside edge of your left foot that can come off the floor. Your upper body leans away from your left leg, and your hips will drop your hips down and forward. We're just working external rotation here on the left side. All right, let's take the sole of your left foot back to the floor. We can walk your left foot back to the position it started in. Bring your hands up onto high bricks. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your back knee up. You reach into that heel, maybe give your calf a stretch. With your left leg now, we're going to bend and extend. So straighten out your left leg. Move the bricks so that your hands are under your shoulders. Bend your left knee. All right, hips go back, left leg goes straight. And while this is happening, if you're really tight in your low back, you may find that you hunch over. It just means take a little bit more height here. Bend your left knee. One more time, extend your left leg straight. All right, last variation, we're taking our left leg across the midline of our mat. Remember, we're crossing our legs in a single leg forward bend. Turn your hips back to the right. Set your bricks so that your hands are under your shoulders, and then take your chest over top of your left leg. Begin to extend your left leg straight. Spine moving straight over your left leg. Bend your left leg. Extend your left leg straight. Bend your left leg. Extend your left leg straight. Big push here. All right, bend your left knee, walk your foot back over to the left side of your sticky mat. You can step your back foot towards your front foot, maybe take your feet to the edges of your mat. A little quick standing forward bend here. If you're really tight in the hamstrings and you find that you have to round your back to get your hands to the bricks, just take a bend in your knees. Chances are this is still stretching in your hamstrings. All right, so back flat, legs straight. And that's it for today. If you do have a little bit of extra time, what you can do at the end of your practice is come to some space at the wall. If you have space at the wall, lay on your back, take your legs straight up the wall, and finish your practice here with a little bit of down regulation. Just relaxing. 5 minutes would be fantastic. Just like this, and enjoy.